Congratulations, Badgers. Today we celebrate what is truly a significant milestone. You should be proud of what you have accomplished. Graduating from a world-class university with a degree from a world-class department is a significant accomplishment. To be here today took significant effort on your part and is a testament to your talents and desire to succeed. After all your years of work, you might ask, was it worth it? Of course, we believe the answer is an unambiguous yes. Dating back to the ancient Greeks, there has long been a view that for democracy to work, we need an educated society, one that can understand complex issues and make informed decisions. In this modern world, this need is as great as ever. As students within the College of Letters and Sciences, you have gained a broad education spanning the natural sciences to the humanities. This will enrich your experience of the world and enable you to engage more effectively in our democracy. As students within the psychology department, one of the greatest strengths of your degree is the training you've received in critical thinking. You have received training in statistics, and you know the ever-important difference between correlation and causation, and how difficult it can be to differentiate between these two. You've learned how to dissect complex issues into their component parts, identify the gaps in our understanding, and then design a path forward for filling in these gaps. And you've gained skills to effectively communicate and share what you've learned with others. As if this isn't enough, you also gained a deeper understanding of human behavior, how people develop and learn, what motivates them, and the ways in which we may struggle to function in this world. This is an understanding that will benefit you no matter where your life takes you, no matter your profession. Not surprisingly, our graduates go on to careers in a diversity of fields. This, of course, includes careers in the clinic and the research lab, but it also includes careers in business, finance, law, medicine, conservation, nonprofits, government, you name it. There are very few careers your psychology degree hasn't prepared you for. Beyond your career, your psychology degree has prepared you for life in all its unpredictable glory. For me, Skinner's insight into the importance of rewards in shaping behavior turned out to be surprisingly useful, from the way I raised pets and kids to how I manage a research lab. When I was a student, I had no idea how broadly useful my training in psychology would be. This preparation made me better able to navigate my path. There are many things I might say as advice, but today the one piece of advice I'd like to share is this: have confidence in the fact that you have acquired such useful knowledge and skills. You might be like I was at this point, unsure of where you are going. For you, I would say, if in doubt, follow your instincts. You have skills that will help you thrive no matter where you land. You might be one of the lucky ones who knows just where you want to go. Here I would note that plans can change, life evolves. As this past year has shown, circumstances and priorities can shift. But as things change, the skills you've acquired in our department will serve you well. They give you flexibility, and that flexibility gives you options, and those options give you some control over your life. And as psychological science teaches us, a sense of control is an important component of well-being and satisfaction in life. So, as you go forward, have confidence that your skills will serve you well, no matter the circumstances. Once again, let me say, congratulations, Badgers.
Psych majors, first and foremost, congratulations. You've accomplished so much in the middle of a pandemic that no one in their wildest dreams ever thought would happen. Oh yes, of course, it happened in 1918, but that was a long time ago. You did it, you survived, you prospered, you're graduating, hooray. But before I give you some advice, let me introduce you myself. I'm Dr. Zorba Pastor, a family practitioner for 40 years. I've had a show on National Public Radio produced by Wisconsin Public Radio, Zorba Pastor on Your Health. We've got about 150,000 listeners every week on the radio and on podcasts. I appear weekly on News 3 TV, Channel 3000. I write a weekly medical advice column. I edit a monthly newsletter, Top Health, that has a wide circulation of about 1 million. I wrote a book, How to Live a Long, Sweet Life, published by Random House, which also became a very successful PBS special. And I've lectured on health and wellness across the country and the globe for the last 2 decades. Oh, and by the way, I happen to be one of the personal physicians to His Holiness the Dalai Lama, who I've known for many, many years. I bring this up because my personal journey, my success, I credit with the foundation that I received at the University of Wisconsin as a psychology major. There is no doubt in my mind that my work stemmed from what I learned at the UW. The courses, the professors, the TAs, the interactions with other students, the sifting and winnowing in and out of the classroom are the foundation for my views on health and wellness and how to express that understanding both in my day-to-day practice as a doctor and my outreach in media work. You know, health and wellness, or how to live a long, sweet life, really has only 2 components, a physical component and a mental component. But when you deep dive into this, it's the mental component that's primary. Without motivation, without working on mental illness that may obscure that motivation, for example, recognizing and treating depression, you cannot reach your optimum health. You can't teach people to change, to progress, to embrace change, unless you understand how their mind works. And that's where my UW Psych degree has been stellar. It gave me insight to carry on these activities, to prosper, to create, to innovate, and to accomplish. Now, during these troubling times, many of you, in fact, most of you understand firsthand how troubling stress can be. COVID stress has been ubiquitous. And what you learned from your psych degree undoubtedly helped you and will help others, the others you touch now and in the future. Because every catastrophe has an opportunity, and this is yours. Utilizing what you have learned at the UW under the shroud of the pandemic will help you now and in the future weather other hurricanes that are sure to strike. Accomplishing what you accomplished under the conditions that you endured have only made you stronger and more resilient in your chosen profession now and in the future. Your psychology degree will be the basis of your success, just as it is and was and continues to be the basis of mine. And so I congratulate you. The major you chose, the stellar degree that you have from the University of Wisconsin Psychology Department, will be the bedrock of your success, just like it is mine. And by the way, please stay in touch. Don't forget, you are now UW alums.
Hello, fellow graduates. It is my honor to be able to address you this evening as we celebrate our accomplishments over the course of the last 4 years. Congratulations, we made it. In a moment, our experience as psychology students will be just that, only a moment. And so before we move on to the next great adventure, I hope we can pause and reflect on our experience as students in the psychology department. Together, over the last 4 years, we have learned how to be critical thinkers. We have learned to be research-oriented and how to ask and answer important questions using the tools the psychological sciences offer us. We have also learned more about ourselves and have grown both intellectually and as individuals in immeasurable ways. In my own experience, after taking introductory psychology my freshman year, I found my passion for studying people and a profound appreciation for psychologists' attempts to answer some of life's most important questions. I was inspired by the cutting-edge research being conducted within the psychology department here at Wisconsin, and I knew I wanted to major in psychology. During my sophomore year, I was given the opportunity to participate in some of this research, and I joined Dr. Harakevich's Motivation Lab as a research assistant. In the same year, I also joined Psy-Chi, the International Honor Society for Psychology Students, where I met many of you. In my junior year, I started work on an undergraduate honors thesis. I saw firsthand how research is conducted, and along the way received feedback and support from both peers and faculty members in the department. In the spring of 2020, we were forced to adapt to some difficult circumstances. The last 2 years have looked different for us. Instead of seeing one another in Brogden, we now meet over Zoom, and it has undeniably been harder. But we have also grown immensely from this experience. This has meant finding the daily motivation to persevere through online coursework. Yet we have managed to continue to collaborate even amidst isolation because of the community of psychology professors and students who remain dedicated to learning every single day. Learning to navigate the pandemic has demonstrated what being a student in the psychology department is all about. Being adaptive, being resilient, and pushing to find innovative ways to contribute to the field of psychology. Today, we celebrate the culmination of all we have accomplished as psychology students. Our celebration today reminds us that there are infinite possibilities for tomorrow. Graduating with a psychology degree prepares us for more than just a future in research or mental health. We have been prepared to be critical thinkers out in the world. With a psychology degree, we are equipped to analyze, to reflect, and to be relentlessly curious. Among us are future researchers, doctors, teachers, therapists, and politicians, trailblazers and change makers. We are the next generation. We are strong, we are resilient, and I believe we can help to change the world. And most importantly, we are assured in the knowledge that wherever we go, we bring with us everything we have learned here at Wisconsin. So let's go enjoy that next great adventure. Congratulations and on Wisconsin.
Welcome to our fabulous graduates, your very proud families, and other members of our department community. My name is Jenny Safran, and I've been a professor in our department for 25 years. I've taught many of you in my child development courses, and several of you have been integral members of my research group, the Infant Learning Lab. I am deeply honored to be invited to give the last lecture in this year of all years. But I have to admit that I've actually never cared for the term last lecture. It has a feel of finality to it. And while of course that's appropriate, you're becoming college graduates, I'd much rather think of this speech as the first lecture, kicking off the next fabulous phase of your lives. You have so many places to go and great things to do, thoughts to share and ideas to challenge, people to love and communities to enrich and serve. So in that spirit, let's think of today as a kickoff rather than an ending. The class of 2021, more than perhaps any other graduating class in history, although the class of 2020 might disagree with you about this, deserves all of the wonderful things that will be coming your way. Let's think about your time at UW-Madison. You started out as starry-eyed freshmen, getting lost on our huge campus and in our labyrinth-like buildings. You missed your families back home and your high school friends, and you probably spent endless hours on social media keeping up with them. At the same time, you are beginning to find the passions that have brought you here to this day as graduating psychology majors. Maybe it was a lecture in your intro psych class that convinced you to pursue this major. Maybe it was a research opportunity or a volunteer experience or internship that sparked your interest and brought you into our fold. But whatever it was, you spent your first several years of college moving deeper and deeper into your studies, starting to see new connections across your classes that were invisible to you when you first began your college education. You got to know your classmates and professors and began to feel at home in our lovely psychology building. Then came the year 2020. More than any other year in my lifetime, that year was filled with challenges and roadblocks. Just over a year ago, we were all comfortably jamming into classrooms together, elbow to elbow, chatting in office hours, packing onto the campus buses like sardines. It feels like a lifetime ago. I remember teaching my child development lecture, Psych 460, on Tuesday, March 10th. I prefaced the lecture that day by telling the students, some of you are here now, that even though the university hadn't announced anything yet about a closure or even given a hint, you should probably bring all your important belongings home with you after spring break because you most likely wouldn't be coming back after break. I remember the silence, then the whispers and the shocked faces in the classroom that day. I don't think you believed me. I didn't quite believe it either. But here we are, 13 months later, graduating over Zoom. As students over the past 3 semesters, you have found yourselves doing the impossible. You have balanced the competing demands of remote schoolwork, a global pandemic, a financial meltdown, and a racial justice reckoning. Our academic and social lives have been conducted over weak internet connections, mute buttons not being pressed at the right time, awkward time zone differences, and way too many Zoom calls. Many of you are living at home. Some of you haven't been able to get home, and some of you may have lost your homes. Many of you have also lost loved ones this year and have had to grapple with illness and financial challenges that we so wish you could have been spared. It is a true testament to your resilience and fortitude that you are here today as esteemed graduates of the UW-Madison Department of Psychology. I know that you are leaving us to join a world that feels far less certain than it did 13 months ago. But for all of that uncertainty, I am fully confident that you will chart a path to success, just like you did in college. I also know that as psychology majors in our department, you have learned to make a strong argument, write a compelling paper, and think clearly and critically. That is a real recipe for success, no matter what you do next. Finally, to your families, you deserve all of our applause and gratitude for supporting your student through this incredibly difficult time. I have 2 teenagers at home, and I can empathize with some of what you've been through over the past 13 months. Please enjoy this time of celebration and be so, so proud of your kids. Thank you, and on Wisconsin.
Congratulations, class of 2021. You've made it.
All of the hard work, long nights,
tough exams, eye-opening lectures, and small group discussions have helped you reach this milestone.
As a student of psychology, you've gained a rich understanding of human development, biology, cognitive function, and behavior.
The ability to critically evaluate research, news, and information.
Confidence in communicating clearly and effectively.
And the skills needed to design strategies to solve tough problems.
Of course, it's not what you've gained with your psychology degree, but how you've gained it in this most challenging, most memorable, most extraordinary year.
You showed persistence during a time of incredible instability, with so much looming uncertainty about your plans, your classes, and your social lives, all in a context of unprecedented political divisiveness and fraught but critical national conversations about racism. But you engaged with these issues and continued to forge your paths with flexibility and with resilience, taking advantage of your educational opportunities to propel yourselves forward so that you could help make the world a better place.
You've pursued your degree with resilience, supporting and encouraging your classmates.
Through technical glitches ranging from awkward lecture live streams and muted instructor mics to total Canvas upload failures.
You completed your last semester with only 1 day off. That must be the most intense semester ever.
Many of you were attending lectures, completing assignments, and studying for exams in less than optimal environments. Some of you needed to stay up all night to attend synchronous lectures because you're not in the US. Yet you have persevered and managed to gather enough strength to cross the finish line. You've done it with patience. Professors, TAs, and you all were learning to adapt to a virtual format, and lots of things were changing rapidly and unexpectedly. Yet you were willing to give yourself and your instructor teams time to adjust.
While instructors like me have struggled with their lecture capture microphones and other assorted technology challenges.
As we've all struggled with faulty technology and intermittent Wi-Fi connections.
Thank you for being patient with us while we adapted to pooling Drupal and many online courses for the last 3 semesters.
You've done it with creativity, adapting what used to be in-class presentations to pre-recorded triumphs of sophisticated graphics and engaging narratives.
finding ways to connect with your classmates through chat and enliven your class meetings.
I watched you change your thesis plans to focus on questions related to the pandemic, invent new ways of collecting data for studies in your lab, figure out how to pay attention in Zoom classes, and generate novel ways to support your peers in both classes and in labs.
Most, if not all of you, probably had to find creative ways to virtually join lectures, discussions, and other meetings. Maybe you found creative virtual backgrounds. Maybe you needed to find new ways to work with your group members on projects or assignments.
In challenging circumstances, you've faced changes in so many aspects of your life, and you've risen to the occasion. You've persevered in your studies, and you've focused on making a difference in your communities. And beyond that, you've worked harder. You've adapted your studying, your research. You continue to grow and succeed. It's an honor to be a part of your community and your journey. We're inspired by you.
Class of 2021, we are so proud of you. You are an incredible cohort of people. We're excited for what lies ahead of you and wish you the best in the next chapters of your lives. Congratulations, you did it.
Congratulations, you did it.
Congratulations, you did it.
Congratulations, you did it.